Let's Talk About Pain, a podcast from the Quebec Pain Research Network. In each episode, we discuss the latest advances in pain research with guests from across Quebec in the health and research communities. Enjoy your listening.
Hello and welcome to this new episode of Let's Talk About Pain. My name is Alice Bruneau and I'm your host for today. I'm a senior PhD candidate at McGill University under the supervision of Dr. Marco Martel, and I have been in the world of pain research for 8 years now. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the International Association for the Study of Pain, also known as IASP. I have the privileged opportunity to interview Dr. Catherine Bushnell, a scientist and a world leader in the field of pain. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Bushnell. She completed a PhD in experimental psychology at the American University in Washington, D.C., and postdoctoral training in neurophysiology at the National Institute of Health, or NIH, in the U.S. She was hired as the Harold Griffith Professor of Anesthesia at McGill University, where she was also director of the Allen Edwards Pain Research Center for many years. She was president of the Canadian Pain Society from 2011 to 2012 when she returned to the NIH at the NCCIH, the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, where she's now a scientist emerita. Dr. Bushnell has received many accolades during her career, including the very prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award from the Canadian Pain Society. She has over 200 peer-reviewed publications, and her work has been cited over 30,000 times. She joins us today as she just completed her term as president of the International Association for the Study of Pain, the IASP. Hello, Dr. Bushnell. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Alice. It's very nice to talk to you today. I used to be a member of QPRN, and I have such high esteem for the organization, and it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Thank you so much. So to begin, would you please tell us what is the International Association for the Study of Pain, the IASP?
Okay, well, IASP is the leading global organization that supports the study and practice of pain and pain relief. It is now, as of this year, 50 years old. It was started in 1974 by John Bonica, who was an anesthesiologist at the University of Washington in Seattle. And he had this dream to bring together researchers and clinicians so that they could talk to each other, and the information that was coming out of the new research could be disseminated very quickly to the clinicians and to be put into use. We now have over 6,000 members of IASP. We have 95 national chapters around the world, and we have 25 special interest groups that involve people that have very specific aspects of pain that they're interested in, such as neuropathic pain or childhood pain or placebo, and various topics.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And would you please tell us a little bit more about the role of the IASP president, which you just finished your term as IASP president?
Yes, I just finished my term at the World Congress of Pain in Amsterdam in August. Well, the president is actually just one of many volunteer leadership positions in the IASP. We have 5 executive officers: a president, president-elect, past president, secretary, and treasurer. And we also have 15 counselors from around the world that represent different countries and different regions. And the president works with the executive committee, with council, and with the IASP staff to create and execute the programs and activities of IASP. There's one unique task of the IASP president that I liked very much, which was to choose a global year for each year of his or her term. So the Global Year focuses on a special aspect of pain to increase awareness within the pain community and even beyond. So the president chooses a task force that puts together material that is free for all. You can download it off our website. Doesn't matter if you are a member of ISP or not. And there are a number of fact sheets that are created. And each of these are like 1 to 3 pages long and is written in lay language and is then translated into multiple languages. And then we also produce webinars and podcasts. Again, these are all freely available to everyone. So during my term for the year 2023, I chose the Global Year for Integrative Pain Care, which that's close to my heart since that's kind of what I studied for more than 40 years. And in 2024, I chose the Global Year about sex and gender disparities in pain. So we're just completing the material for that for this year. So again, this is something that was to me one of the nicest aspects of being the president, and I hope people will look at our material.
I sure did, and I really appreciated those two choices that you made for the past
Thank
2 years.
Thanks.
So, in line with that, I mean, you did just mention the global years and some fact sheets. Can you tell us if there are any other key areas of work where the IASP has made an impact over the decades?
Okay, there are many, many areas where we've made impact. So I'll highlight some of the things I think are the most obvious or the most important. So one thing is we hold the World Congress in Pain every 2 years. We just had this in Amsterdam. I know Alice, I think you were at it,
Yes, we
and
saw each other. We did.
exactly. It's a really a wonderful venue for people to come together. Again, it's John Bonika's vision. Scientists, clinicians, clinical researchers, basic researchers, trainees, old people like me, we all come together, and it's a wonderful place to interact. There are plenary lectures, there are workshops, there are lectures that are put on by special interest groups and poster sessions where all the trainees are presenting their work, as well as the trade show as well that we have. So it's a great event. We have about 4,000 people. I think the most we've ever had is 7,000, but generally we have 4 or 5,000 people who attend this meeting. The next one is going to be in Bangkok in 2026, and I know that it costs a bit to get to Bangkok, but once you get there, hotels are not expensive, and we're doing everything we can to help people of limited means, trainees, or people from low or middle income countries to be able to attend this meeting. So we hope that you will be able to.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing about IASP is that you offer sponsorship or scholarships or fellowships to some trainees, people from all over the world. So I think that's wonderful to help reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, and this is something we're focusing on now to try to find funding to be able to do, more of that, and hoping that many of the people that are like myself who are older or finishing up their career will help support some of the trainees and people from developing countries. So now another obvious thing that ISP does is publishes two journals, Pain and Pain Reports. And Pain is the leading journal in the pain field. It has the highest impact factor. It's been the preeminent pain journal for many, many years. Pain Reports is a newer journal. It is online and totally open access. And it's similar, but it tries to promote a more global, rapid, and readily accessible forum for disseminating both basic and clinical research. And again, this you have to pay for this, but we have ways to help people pay who are of limited means. So if you're interested in publishing in pain research, in pain reports, and you don't have the means, contact the journal and discuss it with them.
Yeah. So speaking of initiatives of the IASP, my next question is related to some of the initiatives supported by IASP. So you were a visiting faculty member in the 2022 North American Pain School. Can you explain to our listeners what the pain schools and the pain camps are and why young researchers and healthcare professionals should consider applying to these programs?
Yes. I think that the pain schools and the pain camps are two of our most important programs of ISP. So the pain schools are targeted for pain for early career pain researchers, whether it's a clinical research or basic research. We have the North American Pain School, European Pain School, the Latin American Pain School, and the Australian Pain School. And I've attended all except the Australian Pain School. I think that NAPS, the North American Pain School, really is the model for all the other pain schools. And there, the early career people come in. You come in for a week or 5 days, and you live there, you stay there. The faculty members are with you, having dinner, having breakfast, going on rafting trips if you survive that. And some people was a little iffy on the rafting trip at NAPS, but it's like you're living with people who are your mentors and with your colleagues around the world. And I guess because you've been at NAPS, at least, that it becomes a lifetime. You get together. There are reunions at the ISP meetings. It's really a way to stay in touch with your peers and your mentors for the rest of your life. And then some of the people who are Napsters who come in as trainees then go on to become faculty. And it really is a wonderful event. It's supported by ISP and QPRN and many other organizations, because once somebody is accepted into the program, it's free and everything is paid for. And well, NAPS is at a wonderful place.
Yeah, right here in Quebec, in Montebello.
Montebello, Quebec. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Uh, so I highly recommend it. You can, again, people can go on our website and get more information about these things. Pain camps are very, very different. They're interprofessional, residential, educational events that are designed for healthcare professionals in countries of limited means. And we have, again, we have a Southeast Asian camp, a Latin American camp, and we are now starting this year in February. There's going to be an African camp that's going to take place in Nairobi, Kenya. And these are really 4 days of intense didactic and role playing training. They really looking at ways to treat pain in countries where there's really limited means to treat pain, and we don't have all the highest technology. They have role playing. There's a lot of psychological interventions as well as training about drugs that are accessible, because not all drugs are accessible in various countries. And again, these people come in at the Southeast Asian Pain Camp that I attended. There was somebody from Fiji. He was like the only clinician in Fiji who was interested in chronic pain. There was two people from Mongolia. Again, they were the only two clinicians in Mongolia who were interested in chronic pain. So then these people take their knowledge back to their home countries and teach the other physicians in those countries how to treat chronic pain. So it's really a wonderful program.
That's wonderful. It's a very efficient way, I think, to have concrete actions that will help clinicians all over the world help patients in pain. That's a wonderful initiative.
Absolutely.
So, our my last question for you, because you're a busy person, what are your hopes for the future for the IASP community? What can we achieve in the next few years, or what are some of the initiatives that you're looking forward to in the next few years?
Well, I think that a lot of what we will be doing is continuing building upon the programs that we already have. One program I haven't talked to you about that I'd like to just throw in here is Pain Research Forum. And
Yes.
PRF, Pain Research Forum, is a wonderful way to, again, for researchers to communicate with each other, as well as for clinicians to get the latest knowledge. There are the papers of the week that are published each week with links to the actual article, a list of papers. There's so many pain related papers. I really didn't, until I started looking at PRF, I didn't realize how many there are, because they go through and find all the journals around the world, pick the ones that they feel are the most relevant, and even have like an editor's choice of even paring it down to a few articles that are really the most outstanding. But again, you can go on there, you can go through the articles and click on them and get the PDFs of the articles right away. It's a great way of following literature. And also, PRF is a network too. It's a way to communicate with your peers and discuss things. So again, like people to take a look at that, go on the website and see, because I think it's a really important program.
Yeah, that's a great initiative, and I believe the PRF has the correspondence program as well
It does
for
have the
younger.
correspondence program, and
Yeah,
that takes place sometimes at the Pain schools. And this is really teaching early career people how to communicate pain science. And a lot of people don't want to go into the lab, but they would rather go into careers of communication, and it's wonderful. I love to see some of the people who have basic training go into these types of careers.
it is very important. Communication is key in some aspects, not only of research and science dissemination, but also in policy, I find.
Absolutely. Something that was started recently is the Early Career Network, which is both researchers and clinicians. And again, this is a forum for early career people to be talking to each other and also advising ISP. We use the Early Career Network to help us decide what initiatives are the most important for the people who are starting up. So we have people from the Early Career Network on all of our committees and task force. So anyone who is interested in joining that network, please do. And then we draw from that to get advice. And it really helps us decide where we want to go, because we want to go where you want to go. So
Yes.
I think it's really important. And also, we want to work more with our national chapters. We have 25 special interest groups, and we feel we're not supporting them enough. So we really want to work on that. We do. I didn't mention that at our World Congresses, we have a day where we have special interest groups can put on meetings, pre-Congress day, and many of them do that. We had about 15 of the special interest groups putting on the pre-Congress meeting. And then some of the bigger special interest groups actually put on congresses in the off year, the year that we don't have a World Congress. And that is the neuropathic pain SIG and the childhood pain SIG both hold conferences during the off years. So we're doing everything we can to support the SIG so that people really can focus in on their critical interests. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. I've attended one of the special interest group off year meeting, the pediatric one, a
yeah,
couple years ago, and it was wonderful because you get to meet people working directly in the same field as yourself, and
it's like,
the World Congress is wonderful as well, but it's so big and there are so many different topics to look at and posters to see. So to have a smaller, concentrated Congress was a wonderful opportunity, I found.
absolutely, yes, because these are like 300 or 400 people at these meetings, so it's big enough to really have a good program, but small enough that you can get to talk to everybody. And in the pre-Congress days, the special interest group one-day meetings is another place where you can meet the people that are in that SIG and have the interest. So I think it's a great initiative. And I just finally, one thing that we haven't done too much in the past and we're really trying to improve on is working with people with the lived experience of pain. So we have the Global Alliance of Partners for Pain Advocacy that's been formed, and we've just haven't been greatly successful in getting everything going. So this is our new CEO that came on board last year is very keen to work more with GAPA and to incorporate GAPA into ISP so that we have the voice of people living with pain in our ears all the time while we are developing our programs.
Yes, that's very important. And at McGill, we have, Leslie Singer, of course, a
Yes,
wonderful patient partner who's advocating for the presence of patient partners. So I think
yes,
the
yes,
more people hear about it, not just in pain research, but in health research in
yes,
general, the more people are on board with the idea and the more benefits we can get in the future with that.
absolutely.
Well, Dr. Bushnell, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. And we look forward to seeing you at the next World Congress, I guess.
Yes, yes. And so please, everybody who's listening, go on our website, look at everything, because we have we have awards, we have prizes, we have lots of things you can tap into. So please do. And I hope to see everybody at the World Congress. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Pain. Don't hesitate to subscribe so you don't miss an episode and to share the podcast with your friends. For more information, visit our website at qprn.ca or our YouTube channel by searching Quebec Pain Research Network. See you next time.